We don't show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hall Ride Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Do not adjust your screens. You are not seeing two people in one place in your imagination. This is real right now. We decided that I figured, hey, we're coming up on the biggest game in the last 25 years for the Miami Hurricanes. And before Vish, left for College Station, I wanted to give him a proper send-off and come and spend time with him and give him some of my positive juju before he gets out of here. All right. So we decided to join forces because, this is how the Kings are, right? It's one. We were one now, right? It's like, I was watching Quantum Leap the other day. This is a quantum entanglement here that we're producing here for the Miami Hurricane. I don't know. I'm just talking.
I don't know where the hell you're going with this. I think it fell apart about 10 minutes ago.
This is like, what the hell is going on right now? Oh, man. What's up, Kings fans? We are here. Get ready for round one of the college football playoffs. DJ Larry Bluestein, obviously, with some big news on recruiting college playoffs. It's high school state playoffs here in Florida as well. We got some news on that, plus a little transfer portal news. But most importantly, we get to talk Miami, Texas A&M. As I mentioned, the Kings are on their way to College Station this weekend to play Texas A&M in round one of the college football playoffs. Something that hasn't happened around here in a long time, right? It's a meaningful game in December, a meaningful bowl game, right? The most important game we've had for the Miami Hurricanes in the last 25 years, right? I'm about right? 25 years.
Yeah, maybe like 22, 23 years, but yeah.
Crazy, man. Yeah.
I mean, national championship games and stuff happened in the middle there, so.
So we're gonna get into it in just a second. But before we do that, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor for the night. That's 305-800-PAIN. After an accident, every minute counts. With one call to 305-800-PAIN, you get immediate access to trusted doctors and attorneys who guide you step by step. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, they are a brand you can trust. Much like 5 Reasons Canes, 305-800-PAIN is focused on the local community of Miami-Dade County and South Florida. We'll handle all your accident needs, including car accidents, personal injuries, and related legal matters. So after an accident, be sure to call 305-800-PAIN. The number is the brand, 305-800-PAIN. Después de un accidente, cada minuto cuenta. Con una llamada a 305-800-PAIN, ustedes pueden obtener acceso inmediatamente a doctores y abogados para ayudar con todo el proceso. Con una clasificación del A+ del Better Business Bureau, pueden confiar en ellos. 305-800-PAIN tienen mucho en común con 5 Reasons Canes. Están enfocados en la comunidad local de Miami-Dade County y en Florida del Sur. Ellos pueden ayudar con todo después de un accidente, incluyendo accidente de carro, lesiones personales y otras cosas legales relacionadas. Entonces, después de un accidente, llama 305-800-PAIN. El número es el nombre de la marca, 305-800-PAIN. Vish, obviously we're going to talk a lot about the matchup between Miami and Texas A&M, but you'll be heading out over to College Station for the game.
Yep.
You got to be excited. I mean, personal experience, you got to be excited for this. I mean, again, as a lifelong Miami Hurricane fan, of course, it's hard not to get super, super psyched up for, again, right, one of the biggest games in Miami Hurricane recent history, I guess. Recent, I say the last 20 years. This has got to be something that I've been looking forward to for a long time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's been about 20 years since they played in a game of this match. I would say probably this is maybe 2003, 2004. There were, games that the Canes lost that could have put them into the championship picture, but they haven't really been close since. So, yeah. And when you think about everything that's transferred, like I was thinking about that as we were like making travel plans. I was like, man, it has been a journey. It has been a journey. I mean, we all would all of the stuff we're talking about the Randy Shen era, Al Golden, Mark Rick, Manny Diaz, and then those are the coaches. It's just, and then the number of times where it looked, like it was on upward trajectory and the bottom fell out. Like Randy Shannon's third year, that team looked really good, and then everyone's coming back, and then the next year's collapsed. And same thing, Al Golden had that one team started 7-0, and then the bottom fell out too. Yeah, we had the 2017. Although I think we all kind of knew that was a little bit of like it was winning, but still, yeah, there were those moments, and then even to last year with the up 21-0 on Syracuse and then lost the game and missed the playoffs. And it's been a journey. The no kneeling against Georgia Tech. All of these moments to lead to this point. I mean, the last time the Canes, we're only 3 years removed from the Canes going to College Station in Mario's first year and losing 17-9, having not scored a touchdown. So it's been a journey to get to this point. Yeah. And it's exciting. And yeah, I think we're all kind of optimistic that this is the beginning, not the end of this journey here.
Blue, you've been through a lot also when it comes to local sports, right? You've covered a bunch of young kids that have committed to Miami or that have loved Miami, that haven't gone elsewhere, right? So you've seen the heartbreak, you've seen the exhilaration, the happiness, you've seen the ups and the downs for college football. When it comes to the Miami Hurricanes, this is obviously one of the best, moments that they've had in a very long time. What do you think, Blue, from the ground view of your perspective and how you have interacted with players, coaches at Miami, but also at the high school level, what this means for Miami, for Coral Gables, for the city of Miami, for college football? What's your take on what it feels like, and how do you think it, what do you think it means for them?
Well, when you take a look at a lot of these, college football people and people who follow college football, they always say that college football is always better when Miami's doing good, because Miami has that unique fan base. It's not a 100,000 every Saturday, but it is a unique fan base of people who have jumped on the bandwagon throughout the years and have kind of jumped off, but they jump back on real quick. So, and for this community too. I mean, it's we saw it at the state championship game, the state of Florida in its entirety, and not just South Florida, but as far away as Jacksonville and Sarasota and areas like Orlando that play this game at a high level, and Miami seems to, kind of tap in to a lot of these areas. I mean, obviously we know that North Florida is pretty much encompassed by Florida and Florida State, but you do have a lot of fans. You go around the state and you see University of Miami stickers on cars and such. So, I mean, and you know how it is, when anybody's winning, whether it's Florida, Florida State, or Miami, people seem to kind of bandwagon jump, but it's Miami being a private school, Miami being, I ran into to Michael Irvin over the weekend, who was at the St. Thomas game on Thursday, and that's exactly what he said. It's fun when Miami's winning. It really is, and with all the former players and who played in the NFL and who still come back and support the team, and it's just it's like it's a lot of fun, and even though the nation seems to collectively root against Miami, and we're hoping and crossing their fingers that the Hurricanes didn't make the playoffs. There are those now that rejoice the fact that they're getting an opportunity, and even some are looking past this game and saying, we could beat Ohio State. Yeah, well, as Vish says, and Vish knows, he's been to College Station, and I've been there a few times as well. It's not an easy place to play, and certainly that's the focus right now. And and there's a lot of confidence. Miami left this regular season, with an unknown whether they're going to make the playoffs or not. But in the stretch run, especially at Pittsburgh, a quality opponent that was 6-1 in the conference going into that game and had just as much at stake as Miami did to win that game, Miami took care of business. So I think from the standpoint of being a South Floridian and being a Hurricane fan, this is huge, because we've at this time for the last couple of decades we've put away the equipment and headed and looked to the next season. But right now you're just as much in play as Ohio State and Indiana, who are 1 and 2, because even though they have buys, you win this game and you're all on an even footing. And
this is a brand new season. It's a brand new season now.
Well,
right now.
And not only that, because every game looks like it's going to shape up to be a game that's going to be at a neutral field. There's, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of hate for Ohio State, believe me. And if you move them down to Dallas, there's more hate for them. So if the Hurricanes could endear themselves, because they've recruited a whole lot better than Ohio State in that Texas area over the years, so they probably have more allegiance. So, in essence, this week obviously is going to be a tough assignment, but nevertheless, it's one game. It's just as tough assignment, even though they're at home, for A&M to beat a Miami team that has as much talent as anybody, and by far the most offensive talent that A&M will see this year on the other side of the field, and that's a fact. Whether their offensive linemen believe that Bain and Messidor are good, which is
rubbish.
Yeah, that guy's gonna.
That's just bullshit.
That guy's gonna get his nose stuck into the ground so many goddamn times.
He's gonna learn a lesson on Saturday. That's what that guy's gonna do.
Yeah, well, I know one head coach on the other side that wasn't very happy. He came out and said that's one thing that our players do not need to be doing, is to get guys who are first round draft picks upset.
Well, I'll tell you
right,
what,
DJ.
DJ.
Right, exactly.
That's
and,
Mr. Overdose real quick. He's fired up.
Hey, good evening.
look at
Good
Mr.
evening,
Overdose,
Overdose.
yeah.
But
DJ, look, the last time the Miami Hurricanes were really good and we're playing in the BCS bowl game.
yeah,
I think you were still in Pampers, so
I was 7.
I know. There you go. You were young.
He was not in Pampers. Leave my guy alone.
This is kind of territory for DJ, right? Which is awesome, man. You must be excited. You cover the team on a weekly basis as well. So amongst all the other things you do, but I actually want to start off with you with this game already. Like, I want to dive into it because this is something new for a lot of people, right? For a lot of young Miami Hurricanes fans, is to see them in a game like this, of this magnitude, of this importance. Now you're going into a big game. You're going into the first round of the playoffs against Texas A&M. You've been able to watch them play a little bit too, DJ.
Oh yeah.
It's a good team, good defense, right? Good offense. They've got some guys that can play in their front four, their front seven. They do lead the nation in sacks, right? But on the other side, Miami's got a great offensive line, right? They've been able to show it. They've been able to run block and pass protect. And we've got a couple potential first round picks. I know one for sure. And there's some other guys that could be high draft picks on that offensive line as well. Talk to me a little bit right off the bat. Cassius Howell, I think, is the biggest name, obviously, on Texas A&M side. How you feel about that defensive line going up against our offensive line, and what Miami needs to do to be able to contain Cassius Howell and the rest of that front seven, if you want to add some of their linebackers as well, because their linebackers are pretty decent also. What's your take on what Miami has to do from that perspective on the offensive line?
Well, first off, I was just previewing the Texas A&M Aggies over the weekend, and they have a bunch of pass rushers and a bunch of really, really good players defensively. And I think the Miami offensive line against the Texas A&M defensive line is going to be probably the most intriguing chess match of this game. And so, as much as we like to throw the ball down the field and wait for the big plays to develop, I would almost rather do quick screens or just get the ball out quick. Don't make any, design, big play, plays, no big shots down the field all the time. Just get the ball out quick and focus on, just trying to gain positive yardage because the faster you get the ball out, the better you neutralize that Texas pass rush. And don't get me wrong, I feel extremely confident in the Hurricanes offensive line to be able to do their job against the Aggies defensive line, but the Aggies defensive line is certainly no slouch. And so I think they need to get the ball out quick. They need to, not necessarily go for the big play, but just take what the defense gives you. And the less Carson Beck holds the ball, trying to make reads and making those big plays, I think the better, because I really am excited to see how this offensive line stacks up against this defensive line. I've been looking forward to it for the last couple of days now.
Vish, I'm actually on the opposite of these. I don't disagree with him. But I'm actually on the opposite. I think that Texas A&M has had a propensity, or whatever you want to call it, tendency to give up some chunk plays, give up some big plays in the secondary. I think that the way that you can break their will, especially on the front four, which, by the way, the only guy that really concerns me that much is Cassius Howell. I don't think they've played as strong an offensive line, as good an offensive line as they're going to face against Miami, number one. Number two, I think that the way to break their will, throw the ball down the field, get some of those big plays, and you're going to see them start to say, oh, crap, now we can't pin our ears back and go after Carson Beck as much because this offensive line is able to neutralize this. That's my thought process. What's your take on that battle between our offensive line and their defense?
Well, I mean, it's one, if the Canes win that, they're in a great position to win the game. I think that is – like you said, there have been, and Parrish, shout out to Parrish in the chat, has also kind of making the same point that, they've given up a lot of high-scoring games this season, but it's been very hit or miss. And, it doesn't – ironically, it's like not the opponent. Like they gave up 42 points to Arkansas, but then they shut down like better offenses than that. So it's been very – it's not odd. Like just it's not just like, oh, they
30 to South Carolina
in the first half, in the half, and then South Carolina couldn't move the ball at all in the second half. So they've been very up and down, but it doesn't appear to at least be tied to anything as simple as, if they play a good offense, they get scored on, because they gave up points to some of the worst offenses they've played and then shut down a lot better offenses. So, I mean, we'll see. I know you said correctly they haven't seen an offensive line at the Canes. The Canes haven't played a defensive line like this either. So it's a little bit of new ground. I'm kind of more in DJ's. I don't know necessarily about having to get the ball out quick, but I think moving the pocket, some play action just to buy a little bit more time, because then I do think they need to be aggressive. A&M secondary is not good. They have I said it's on the show DJ and I did yesterday morning. I looked this up in 3 different sources because I didn't believe it. They have 3 interceptions total on the year. So as a team, so like you've got to take shots. You can't just play in a box against a team that has that much trouble intercepting the ball. And so I definitely would take shots down the field, but I think to buy the time to do that, you need to set it up with the running game, do some play action, move the pocket just to get a little bit of extra time to get the ball out. But I do think there are plays to be had, and I do like the Canes wide receivers against A&M secondary.
No, I know you guys were. Oh, my bad. No. I just I know you guys were kind of talking about making big plays and trying to get the ball out. Are any of you worried about Carson Beck's tendency to be too aggressive, and that's where the turnovers come? Because he got a lot better at it over the final stretch here, but I just worry that a turnover or two against a team like Texas A&M, when Beck's trying to be really aggressive, could maybe play a big factor in this game. Are any of you worried about that whatsoever, or do you think that's cleaned up?
I think that maybe 5 games ago I might have been more worried about it, but I think that right now Beck is. I think he's locked in, right?
Yep.
I think he's locked in, and if he, even if he gets some pressure, yeah, he might get aggressive. He might be a little bit of a gunslinger, kind of push the ball down the field a little bit. But no, as Vish said, right, like they only have 3 interceptions this year, and that's not. It's kind of like saying, "Oh shit, now we jinxed ourselves." They only have 3, right? No, I mean, you have to be careful. You always have to be careful. There's still a good defense, right? That's not to say that they can't get a turnover here and there if they make a mistake. So, no, right? No, I'm not. I'm not concerned, because when you get concerned is when you make more mistakes, right? You got to let him play his game. You got to let him go out there and run the offense that Dawson is gonna call. And speaking of that, right, Blue, I think Dawson leaves no stone unturned. You cannot hold back. You have to completely leave out the whole entire playbook if you have to. You can't hold back on your play calling. You got to go out there. You got to be aggressive on your play calling. You have to execute, obviously, as a team. But I think that right now, Miami has to be aggressive in their play calling. That doesn't mean that you have to be aggressive by throwing the ball down the field all day, right? But you got to be very what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic, right? Like you have to be very creative on offense. Obviously, Dawson's had. You see what he's done the last 4 or 5 games with his play calling. He's shown that once the rings are off and Mario's giving him full, just full access to be able to just do whatever the hell he wants. You see how he's been able to really release the hounds, as I like to say, and let this offense just go crazy. I fully expect them to be aggressive, especially against that secondary, Blue. As Vish mentioned, only 3 interceptions. How do you feel about Miami's passing game against Texas A&M's passing defense? Are you confident enough that Miami can push the ball down the field a little bit?
Well, I kind of agree with what Vish said. The secondary for A&M is not the greatest in the world, but that being said, their front seven's not terrible. They'll put on a lot of pressure, but I think Miami's at the point, especially over the last 4 games, where they're going to play their game. They're not going to adjust to what Texas A&M does. They let Texas A&M adjust to what they've done, and they've done really successful over the last 4 weeks of the season. And I think that's, that they're going in there and they're practicing their game. They have their game plan, and they're not going to alter it, for a team like A&M. They've played better teams than A&M, believe me. I mean, whether you guys want to understand that or not, I from a personnel standpoint, there have been a few teams that they played that have just as good a personnel. Before, remember, they were 18th in the nation. They were pick six in the SEC to begin the season. So let's not go, crazy on a team that, that kind of developed and got some breaks along the way. Notre Dame should have beaten them. They're, obviously Texas beat them.
Notre Dame doesn't beat good teams, so
yeah. I understand that, but I'm just saying, I'm not rushing to think that this team is, of the Ohio State nature, because they're not. So, the only thing they have going for them this week is their home crowd, and Miami's played on the road before, and, albeit not as much this year. But I just think that Miami.
Hey, by the way, our quarterbacks played in a playoff game before, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, okay.
So I understand that. I think we're okay there as well, right?
And some of the other kids on the team have played, in bigger games. But that's my point is this. I think Miami comes into this game. Really, they got nothing to lose. If they lose, everyone goes, well, they were supposed to lose. They weren't going to be favorites, and they just made it in and blah, blah, blah. But I think that they have everything going for them as far as the fact that they're going to just come in, play their game offensively, which has been pretty damn good, especially since the realization that they did have a running back like Gerard Pringle, who can get outside and kind of balance things off and kind of cause that thunder and lightning like they needed to do. They didn't have it. They had two guys that were rumblers in the first part of the year with Brown and with Fletcher. Now they have somebody who could actually get them. If he gets out in the open, he could go. Obviously, because in the last 4 games, and I don't know why, that their offensive coordinator, maybe it's just because he was restricted, and they probably got together and said, "Hey, listen, let's open it up. Let's open this playbook up, and let's do those halfback passes. Let's get our tight end, a guy who may not be a tight end, but he's an H-back. Let him catch the ball a couple of times." And I think that's what's happening, because in the first, I think the reason they lost to LSU, to SMU and to Louisville is they were too damn predictable, and that's the thing. I mean, when laymen know that they're going to run the ball tackle to tackle, I'm sure somebody like on Lashley's staff or on Brom's staff knew it as well. So I just think now they're more unpredictable on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense has just been stellar over the whole season, really, when you think about it. I mean, they've kept them in every damn game, going. No one's blown them out. So yeah, I do think Miami's got everything to play for, and I don't see, somebody asked me this, over the damn 7 games and a million hours that I spent at the state championship. Jesus, that's taxing, on my old body. Imagine how it is on some of the younger guys as well. But yeah, we talked about that. And I think that Miami's an unpredictable team now, and you don't know what they're going to do. It's no longer let's run 3 in a row, to Fletcher and see if we can get a first down. They're going to open things up. And I think especially there, if they could take that crowd out of it and get some big plays, through Malachi or whoever, I think this ball game becomes a whole different ball game. Obviously you don't want to see the home team get a lead. And I think that Miami's got to be wary of, like you guys said, interceptions or fumbles or key penalties, pre-snap penalties. I think if they could play they don't have to play a completely flawless game, but they can't make crazy ass mistakes that are going to give Texas A&M opportunities, to score when they don't really have to work for it. You have to make them, they're going to let them go 80 yards, don't let them go freaking 5 or 10 or 12 or, a fumble or so. But yeah, I'm excited about what Miami brings to the table, because they're throwing all caution to the wind. They don't have to panic. If they, like I said, they've come this far. They've been given that opportunity, thanks to the committee that saw that they deserve it. And now they got to run with it.
Speaking of, right, running the running game, speaking of Kings being aggressive, speaking of Malachi Tony Vish, I fully expect Malachi Tony to be involved in every single play, whether it's as a decoy, whether it's as a main read, whether it's the quarterback, the kicker, the punter, the field, you name it. Will we see? I mean, I think you put it perfectly, right? Will we see the Malachi Tony show? Is this a game for him to come out and again continue to do what he's been doing all season? Do you think that obviously Texas A&M's game plan is definitely going to be to stop Malachi Tony, or to at least try to contain him? I think he's too good to not have an effect on the outcome of this game. How do you feel Malachi Tony, his game or his performance is going to affect this football game this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's the key skill position player for this team, so he's going to be featured a lot. I am wondering, I mean, Dawson has gone deep into the trick playbook. Like you say, he's running reverses with him, throwing to him, having him throw the ball, a lot of run pass options for him. I do wonder if we see that. I mean, again, this is now I know Blue was talking earlier, like that the game plan went conservative in the middle of the season and has now opened back up. But now there's several games on tape for Texas A&M to look at to see all the different things we're doing. So I expect them to have counters to that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how judicious we are with it. Because I mean, there was one point against Pitt where he was literally just getting the ball on every play, and he was fantastic, and it worked. But you know, I mean, Pitt's not Texas A&M, right? I mean, I think you're going to get a better defense here. And so the question is, I mean, we haven't seen anyone stop him or even contain these plays. So I'm curious to see what they've done adjustment-wise to try and counter what the Canes have planned there. And then, again, there's counters to the counters. And, you know, what Dawson additionally is – because – I mean, there's definitely stuff in the playbook for Malachi Toney that Dawson has not called yet.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see
I'm
that.
sure he still has.
Yes, I'm interested to see that because, like I said, we've seen him throw it, we've seen him run it, we've seen him catch. Obviously, as a receiver, but you know what else do?
You know that they've used him so much as a decoy. Also, people don't realize how much they've used him as a decoy, and I think that's going to be huge for this game. They're going to still zero in on him, and he's going to be the decoy. I think that's when you got to.
But I wonder if we have things like the one thing we haven't done with him is run a traditional old school option with like he could pitch it to the running back or keep it. It's all been run pass.
Yeah, he's done a little bit of wildcat.
Yeah, but those are straight runs though. Those are not what I'm talking about. Is like out on the edge. Well, not RPO. It's one we've done all that. Actually, we've done all that. I remember against Virginia Tech, he threw that dime to the back of the end zone. It was incomplete because there was pass interference. They didn't call it, but I mean, we haven't done an old school like up down the line. I can pitch it or keep it type of stuff. So I mean, there's still more things you can do there.
Never know.
Oh well, we'll see. But I think they're gonna have some stuff they haven't shown yet to keep Texas A&M off bounds. Because again, now A&M, I mean, there's a month of us running all these. I mean, we can call them trick plays, but they're kind of just part of the core offense at this point. But there's been a month of that now on film for them to look at. And obviously Elko's a defensive coach. I'm sure he's, got some stuff that he's going to think is going to contain it. And we'll see what happens. I like our guy, though.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I know they're both coordinators are moving on. Have they moved on already, or is Colin Klein still there?
Colin Klein's still there. And then his replacement is the co-offensive coordinator already.
Yeah, Holman Wiggins or something
like
that, right?
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of us know him really well as a great recruiter too. So, I mean, I think it's Malachi Toney's show no matter what. I think he's our best player. Bottom line, you got to make him stay. You got to get him involved, keep him involved, one way or the other. But I think that, as Mr. Overdose here put it, right? Can we get some sluggo routes to Trader or more to scare that TANU secondary? Well. Yes, right. That's where you can kind of use Malachi as a big time decoy for all these wheel routes, all these jet sweeps, all this stuff. Keep them close to the line of scrimmage where guys have to really keep their eyes on him, and that's where maybe you can get some guys over the top, right? I think that you have to use your running backs in the passing game for this game. I think Mark Fletcher, I think Marty Brown is really good in the passing game. I think that that's going to be huge in keeping that front four honest as well, because yes, you got to get the ball out early, but if they're getting a good rush and you're able to dump it off, now these edge rushers got to hold back a little bit and say, hey, maybe I got to get a little wider. Yeah, there's a lot of different things, and I think that it's going to be a little bit of a chess match between Elko and Dawson, and the other way around too. I think Heatherman's going to have his work cut out on trying to stop some of their guys on. Especially Marcel Reed and KC Concepcion. We'll get to that in a second. But A&M's well balanced, right? They've got a good offense. They've got that running back Moss. They got, I think, Ruben Owens. I don't know if he's healthy or not, but Ruben Owens is another kid.
Well, so Moss is actually, I believe, questionable. Elko was saying with an injury.
So it would be Ruben Owens, I think. Oh, they have Emmett Smith's son too.
I mean, I don't think he plays though. Does
he? Yeah, he does. He scored a touchdown the other day. He played. He plays a little bit. So they've got some talent there. They obviously have Concepcion. They have the other kid that has that double name, Bethel something. Blue, you probably know his last name. The other wide receiver. So they've got some talented guys out there as well. But I think it starts with their running game. Never mind that.
Ashton
with
Bethel Roman.
Bethel Roman. There you go.
National
Roman.
Bethel Roman, yeah. Saturated.
For me, and I'll start off with you on this, DJ. I'll go back to you.
So just real quick, this is what Elko said on Le'Veon Moss,
Okay,
who was their main running back. We're in wait and see mode with that one, so we'll see where that goes.
With Le'Veon Moss?
Yeah, he did not play against A&M, which obviously they played terribly and lost. So
Gotcha.
that's a big one if he doesn't play.
Yeah, that is big.
Chip.
But for me, it's more about containing Marcel Reed. I think that if you can contain him to a certain degree, put some early pressure on him, make him make decisions early, get rid of the ball before he wants to, he has a tendency of turning the ball over and throwing interceptions as well. We've seen it, right? We obviously have seen it with our quarterback earlier on before these last 4 or 5 games. But I think that again, just going back to, I think Carson Beck's issue wasn't necessarily trying to get the ball out early. I think he was giving himself too much, getting too cocky with it, right? So he was trying to do things that he shouldn't be doing. I think Marcel Reed is the opposite. I think Marcel Reed is put pressure on him, make him throw the ball early, make him get the ball out early. He has a tendency to make mistakes, turn the ball over. So I in saying that, what do you think is the main focus, DJ, on this Miami defense? Is it containing Marcel Reed? Is it stopping the run? Is it making sure that the wide receivers don't get behind them? What do you think is the biggest thing, the biggest key for Miami's defense to be successful against Texas A&M?
It's either stopping the run or the pass, trying to contain one and making them one-dimensional. Because when you look at this offense, statistically and with the eye test, they're pretty balanced. And I think if you can make them, run the football more or stick to the passing game, then you have a recipe for success, especially like you just mentioned a few seconds ago with Reed. When you pressure him, he can make mistakes. He had 2 interceptions against Texas, and he can turn the ball over when pressured. So I think as long as you don't let the Aggies offense get into a rhythm and be able to use that balance to kind of not trick the Miami defense, but to keep the Hurricanes defense off balance, then I think that's the most important thing to me. Making them one-dimensional and not allowing them to go fully into their own bag of tricks is going to be important. And yes, it's easier said than done. But I think if Miami wants to win, then that's one of the things that they have to try to focus on.
Yeah, Vish, what do you think about this? Is it the Marcel Reed thing that there's a lot of people talking about? Or do you think they just got to focus on stopping one aspect of their game and just letting him?
No, just keep Marcel Reed in the pocket and you'll be fine. I don't, and to answer Mr. Otis' question, yeah, Owen should play. He's their top running back. He platooned with Le'Veon Moss. Le'Veon Moss tended to be more effective, and they really struggled against Texas without him. As he says, they're a big play offense. So yeah, I think it's containing Marcel Reed. Don't allow him to keep drives alive with his feet. Get off the field on third down. It's been when the Canes have, again, the defense has been outstanding, but when they've struggled, that's been the issue. It's like, I should have stopped that drive. It's usually, earlier in the year there were some busts and big plays given up, but they've cleaned that up largely. It's really just been a lot of, damn, 3rd and 7, they got 8, and then it's just like, again, the defense has been outstanding, so really nitpicking the times that they don't have success, which is rare. But yeah, I think if you keep him in the pocket, force him to just consistently be with his arm, I think that is a recipe for success, because I really do like the Canes secondary, especially, knock on wood, if it's fully healthy. potential to be healthier this week. And so I do like kind of putting it on that and saying, okay, if Marcel Reed is going to stand in the pocket and slice up this defense, oh well, I can live with that, because I don't think he's able to do that. But if you start letting him get outside and run, make plays on the run, and that's where they get the chunk plays that Mr. Overdose is talking about, and that's where you get into trouble. So just containing him, really important to tackle well this week. First guy there is going to put him on the ground, and you'll be fine. I do like this matchup. I think, again, we talked about Texas A&M has a really good defensive line. I'd put the Canes up against anyone's in the country. And Big Mouth over there is going to learn a lesson this week.
Well, it's in Fort Missouri. You can't be doing that.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you're talking about, obviously, like Reuben Bain is the headline. guy, and justifiably he's going to be a top 5 pick. He's one of the best defensive ends in the country. But I mean, Mesidor is also in that class, and then Ahmad Moten has really come on in the second half of the year. But then when Blay got injured, and he should be back this week as well, seeing Justin Scott step up and grow into that role, just the depth is there now. We saw Lightfoot kind of develop a little bit into a more complete player at the beginning there. He was really just situational pass rushing. He's playing a lot more now.
And Blunt,
Armando Blunt has started to step up.
Scroggins
and so I think the depth that they built in here, like A&M's in for a whale of a time trying to block this, and that's why it's important to tackle. Because they're going to get, I guarantee you, they're going to get pressure. They're going to get into the backfield, and you got to put them on the ground when you do that.
I actually I was watching a show yesterday that mentioned a flow show, actually. So shout out to that flow game. That someone mentioned in the chat that Miami is actually, in the grand scheme of things, they've been better on defense and they tackle better per se, but because they swarm to the football. Apparently, they have actually missed more tackles this year, but since they swarm to the football, if one guy tries to wrap them up and they kind of get through, there's 2 or 3 more guys there. There's 4 more guys there to wrap the guy up. So for me, what's important is, again, tackle well, but keep swarming, making sure that there's not yak, right? Yards after the catch is big in a game like this. You have to be able to swarm to the football, make sure you get the guy down, and be aggressive on defense as well. I think that you can't get hesitant or get nervous and not be aggressive on defense just because this is a team that likes to score on their big play. It's a big play offense, as Overdose mentioned. Like, you got to be aggressive. You got to go after. It's important to make sure that whoever is on the inside covering a guy like Casey Concepcion, is that you just try to limit his big play ability, right? I think he's still going to get his catches and be semi-productive, but because he's a hell of a player. I think more importantly to me than anything else is, believe it or not, is Kyle Field. I don't know, Vish, if you've ever been to Kyle. You've been to Kyle Field, right? Yeah, you've been to Kyle Field.
We did a show from there. Remember, I was standing in the stadium when we.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. You've been to Kyle Field.
I've been there multiple times.
That place is chaos, right? It's 100,000 people there going crazy. They call it the 12th man for a reason, right? It's a hostile environment to play in. This is a home game. Bottom line, it's a home game for Texas A&M. You got to be able to pre-snap penalties is your biggest thing. Blue, you mentioned it a little earlier about playing in this, in this type of environment, right? The atmosphere at Kyle Field. How important it is? How important is it? Number one, to limit your pre-snap penalties and to start off quick and to start off, strong against this Texas A&M team.
Well, the most important thing is don't give them anything positive. Keep everything for them as a negative. Keep the ball, get points on the board. You'd be surprised if Miami gets points on the board and gets up, how quiet that place gets. And, hey, listen, I just, like I said, any team could lose at home. And the only advantage they ever have is when they're up and they get inside make it tough for the opposing teams to hear and things like that. The only way you remedy that is don't make mistakes, don't turn the ball over, and take the lead. And I know easier said than done, but you know what? South Carolina certainly did it. I watched that entire game back 3 days ago. I'll tell you what, if Miami gets ahead like that, it'll be 70-0. Because Miami, they'll never come back on Miami. Never. Not I'll put my mortgage against it. They'll never come back against a Miami team. South Carolina is crap. I watched them. They started giving up. And they had a 27-point lead and never given up. No. Listen, and at the beginning of the game, I watched Sellers, and they made it so tough for him to hear. All he did was convert first down, get first downs, and you'd be surprised how that damn road game looked like a home game for South Carolina at the end of the first half. And I actually don't find that to be. I've
been obviously to a lot of road games. I don't find that stadium to be as intimidating as people say. I mean, when I've been to Virginia Tech at night, that is way harder to play in than
Florida
College Station. I
Field's
think,
harder to
yeah,
play.
I've been there for a night
LSU's
game
harder
as
to
well.
play.
I haven't been to LSU, but I'll take your word for it. But I think part of it is, all right, this is, people are gonna get mad at me there if they watch this, but I don't really care. I feel like all the way that everything is like organized, the way they cheer, there's all these like predefined chants. To me, that takes some of the intimidation out of it. Like them following
They
the yell
stand the
leader.
whole damn game. That's why they get irritable.
but them like taking cues from a yell leader to do whatever chants they'd practice, to me, is significantly less intimidating than like spontaneous noise. So to me, I've never found that. I don't think the crowd had anything to do with Josh Gaddis being awful the last time we went there. I think that was just Josh Gaddis being himself. So I'm not worried about the crowd at all. I also think this is just a weird one. This is the same thing as SMU. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff there, which I think mutes a lot of like that beginning of that SMU game was sleepwalking. Like the atmosphere was dead. Now, obviously, this is a playoff game. There'll be more juice in the stadium, but
Well, the last time the Texas A&M played a 11 o'clock game was against South Carolina.
Yeah, they slept through the first half. It is weird. It's hard to have that much energy that early.
And it's supposed to be warm, so who the hell?
Yeah. So I'm not worried at all about the stadium and the atmosphere. And like Jason says, it's not nearly as loud because again, they're doing their choreographed cheering or whatever the bleep they're doing over there. And like I said, I'm going to hear about this, but anyway. It's just it's not as no, it is choreographed. It is choreographed.
It's like a bunch of idiots.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, again,
I'm gonna talk all that crap.
oh, so will I. That I will deal with them myself because I obviously know several people in that area. So anyway, I am fully confident that the crowd won't be an issue, and largely because we do have the quarterback to handle this. So not really concerned.
Let's do it, baby. 11 a.m. start for us down here, right?
No, it's noon here.
It's noon here.
It's there in Central Time Zones. It's 11 a.m. local.
It's the first round of playoffs, Miami and Texas A&M. I'm so excited for this. Let's do some scores and let's do give me your thoughts on why you get the score blue. We'll start off with you on this one. What do you got as far as the score and why?
Miami 31-28 kick a field goal and then they take the game, and I think it could be worse. I really do. I think that if Miami's going to come out fired up because of all the talking that A&M has done and everybody naysaying them around. It's not going to be close. It's on to the thing. A&M is going to have a home field advantage when they play in the Cotton Bowl. F that. You know what? We'll ruin all your plans. I don't think really the country, you know what? Looking back in the first 4 weeks of the season and listening to these mindless jagoffs who are now saying, well, Miami barely got in there. Miami's the best team in the country. It wasn't even close after 4 weeks. It wasn't even close. That's what I heard 5 people say that. So
that's right.
The only thing that changed during that time, Miami lost a couple of tough games. They had to find a little bit of an identity. I think Miami's the same team right now as they were opening day.
I think they're better than they were opening day.
And they've got a lot more. I think their defense is just as good. They beat the almighty team, Notre Dame, that's supposed to be the best team in the country. And they beat everybody on a neutral field. So they already beat them. So
Notre Dame should be going to the Super Bowl because they can probably beat all the NFL teams too.
Yeah, but
they win 100% of the games they don't play. So
yeah, my big point here is I think Miami's going to. I'm being generous with the 31-28. I think
I was about to say, Blue, you've been so positive that like the Canes are going to handle visiting a 3-point game. Come on.
No, I'm just saying I'm giving them. I think they're going to win. I think they can win a lot higher, but I'm just going to give it just for the sake of the audience, not thinking that I need to go to a mental hospital. Usually I thought you would wait for me for last there, Jazz, because I'm usually the outlandish guy, unlike conservative DJ who never he only picked against Miami once, I think, right? DJ,
I wanted to get the craziness out of the way.
I think so. Yeah, I think I did. I think I picked them.
you picked against Louisville, and so did you, Jazz.
Well,
But
Jazz,
then you
picked
took it
Louisville
back.
in the Jazz picked Louisville in the preseason. I want to say DJ as the weekly prediction. Did you pick NC State to beat Miami? I feel like there was one in there at the end where.
I think he picked Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, did I? I think I had taken NC State because Miami looked like shit up until that point, and then they started rolling.
You have little faith. Well, what do you got, DJ?
So I'm kind of going back and forth here, but I want to say, I want to say 30-17 Miami. I think once they figure out, what kind of Texas A&M offense is going to, what type of offense we're going to see that day. I think the defensive line will be able to control the game. I don't think the Texas A&M defense is going to make it easy on the Miami offense, but I think Miami's going to be able to do just enough. So 30-17 Miami.
I like that. What do you think, Bish?
Yeah, I'm in DJ's camp here. I don't think this is going to be nearly as tight as people think. I think Miami's just a better football team. They're more complete. And most importantly, and this goes poorly, people are going to clip this forever, but I have full faith and confidence in my quarterback. He's ready to go win this damn game, and he's going to light up that defense. And this team is going to win. And you're going to be looking at the quarterback and saying that's the reason they blew out Texas A&M. I got the Canes winning 27-13 in like a workmanlike just beat the crap. Yeah, similar to Florida State except minus the comeback at the end.
Okay, all right. My score is I got 30-24, but I don't think it's as close as the score says. Right, like it's a 6-point game, but I think that it's maybe a last minute. Maybe a last minute touchdown or something. They're with like a minute left there.
Yeah.
They're trying to do something there, but I think Miami dominates most of the game. All the game, really. But you got to get out to a hot start. Right? If Miami starts off slow, it's going to be tough because then you've got. And even though it's not the loudest of crowds, you still got the crowd, and now you got a good offense. That's playing, either either ahead or even. But if you get out in front of them, I think you have a good opportunity to be able to dominate this game. So I'll go 30-24, and I do think that Carson Beck has a hell of a game again. I think he continues his streak and continues to play good football, and Miami comes out on top 30-24. All pretty good scores. I'll take them. I'll take them all. What we got next?
We got high school. Big weekend. Blue saw 700 games or whatever.
Blue, you were there at 5 o'clock in the morning, I think you said on Thursday. I saw you. You covered each and every game. Some games were absolute crazy games. One being that the Reigns game, right? Jacksonville Reigns.
That one in the Lake Mary Vero Beach game where Vero Beach led the whole time and Lake Mary had 12 seconds left. You talk about coaching fart. I mean, it's, punt the ball away. You have it would force the opposing team to get a touchdown and make the 2-point conversion just to tie the game. And what Vero Beach did is they took a safety with 12 seconds left and they had that free kick. And so that made the score 27-21. And then what the Noah Grubbs kid did is just threw a Hail Mary, just like Jazz Santana could do. And the guy caught it. It was 4 yards short, but the running back had enough wherewithal to come behind the receiver and grab it out of his hands. And he took it in for the touchdown. And
Blue, I've seen the highlight of that Hail Mary multiple times. I did not realize that they took a safety to punt the ball to set that play up. That is beyond.
They were up 27-19.
Jeez.
They took the safety, made it 27-21. So even if they punted the ball out of their end zone and and they somehow with 12 seconds scored, it would have taken them a 2-point conversion just to tie the game. all they needed then was just an extra point, and they did, and they won the game in the rain. I mean, Vero had a lot of talent. I mean, and they showed it early. And listen, hey, you know what? Your first time at the state title game in 44 years. Lake Mary was there last year and looked like a youth team. But that game was really, really good. The Orlando Jones game with Miami Commitment, Coleman.
Coleman almost did it all on his own, I heard.
Tried, counted for 360 yards, 350 yards, ran, passed. But Heritage wanted it more. They came up with a couple of big plays, and they won for the second straight years. And they were pretty much the most miraculous of all teams because, you know what, and their head coach at the end of this, they lost 5 times this year. And their state semifinal, they had to go 620 yards. 620 miles for their state semifinal. But in the post-game interview, Mike Smith, the head coach at Heritage, even said, and Malachi Tony was there, it had everybody. We saw all the Carson Beck was there, everybody was there at the game watching the contest. And Mike Smith said, listen, we play a tough schedule, and they did. I mean, they started off with St. Joseph, Pennsylvania, and then went right into Chaminade and St. Thomas and Central, and they played a crazy schedule. He said, we'll play that schedule every year because it makes us better, and it gives us an opportunity to win games like that. The 1A game was really interesting. Chaminade lost. It was their 10th straight. I don't know. I told you I watched Newman the week before. Jack Daniels does a great job. I think that West Virginia's getting an absolute stud in Jaren Hughley, the quarterback, who will probably play safety. But in Rich Rodriguez's scheme of things, you get a 6'3" quarterback who can run like he can, and he throws a little bit. They played extremely well. Chaminade didn't play very well. They went one dimension with their running game, and Derek Cooper didn't do a good deal. I thought the best team that I saw the whole weekend was Cardinal Mooney. They were loaded. I will tell you that Notre Dame's getting a stud in this kid Golden. He was a freak at defensive tackle. They ran the ball well. They're huge up front. They did extremely well. They beat a good team like Jacksonville Bulls, guys. It wasn't like they were playing Boyd Anderson, and they beat them 52-28. St. Thomas won for the 7th consecutive time. They look real good as well. I'll tell you what. There's Julius Jones' son, Julius Jones Jr., former Notre Damer. I'll tell you what, he made some really, really good catches. I think he had 100 and something yards worth of catches. Did a tremendous job. I thought he was really, really good. Their quarterback, Mason Mallory, who won his second straight state title with 2 different teams. Meanwhile, the Heritage quarterback who came over in week 4 because he couldn't beat out Neiman Lawrence, or they deemed he couldn't beat him out, won for the 3rd straight year with 3 different teams. Last year he led Northwestern, and then the year before he was with Central.
What was his name? What's the kid's name?
Leon Straughter. So he did a pretty good job. They blacked out on us.
Yeah, we've got a.
Yeah.
That's going to be my vision after Miami wins on Saturday.
Hold on.
We're good.
We're good. We
went over the time, but
Javion Mallory had 3 touchdowns, right?
Javion Mallory played a really, really good game. He's a guy, I think it comes in there and becomes the Wheatley Humphrey next year, where Wheatley Humphrey gets to get in and gets a lot more playing time. You have Javion come in and kind of assume his role as somebody who's going to learn and watch, and very good though. He's got some really, really good. He's got a good power runner, runs really well. I'm trying to think what game did I miss. Let's see, 2A. I did 3A Northwestern. Got to give Reigns credit. They came from behind. Northwestern screwed around as long as they could. I never seen a team just try to give the game away like they did. They were just they actually overwhelmed them in the first half, and then. I knew that this kid, Timothy Cole, was going to Florida A&M, real good little quarterback. I knew he'd give him fits because he did last year and they didn't score. They had him under control, and Tell you what, though, and Tadarius Hughes got hurt pretty bad. I'm sorry for Syracuse on that. Calvin Russell played very, very well. He caught the ball extremely well. Damn thing went right down to the wire. They won it with no time left. And so that was a good one. I told you about 4A. It was that 5A, 6A I did, and then 7A was the miraculous Lake Mary win. So great weekend, a lot of time. I was there from like 9:30 until 11:30, 11:15 every night. So it 3 nights in a row.
Tell me they fed you. Tell me they fed you at least, right?
Oh, they fed. It wasn't great. I pulled the all-star game of the week. Publix had the chicken tender sub, and I went and got the big chicken tender sub on Saturday, ate half of it for lunch and saved the other half for dinner, and went to the dollar store and got some pretzels, and I was fine. When you go to those games and they have all those cookies and candy and stuff,
that stuff's terrible for you. You got to eat well because
that chicken's tender sub Publix came to the rescue. I didn't realize that damn thing was so big that you could eat. It was really 2 meals, but I had a great time. FIU's a nice venue for it. The parking kind of sucks, you were there, but you were there for an afternoon game. You try to be there that Friday night when Northwestern brought 9,300 people. It was a little bit tough, but we'll see. They're talking about Tampa and Jacksonville for the future, and I just wish they'd go to Orlando and just sign a damn 99-year deal. It's the best because it's got more hotels, affordable hotels. See, that's their industry. People don't realize you go to a one-horse town. That's not their business. Right. South Florida's got, they're a tourism place, but they're an elite tourism place. They're not going to have $70, $80 hotel rooms like they do in Orlando. And that means a lot when you're somebody that can't afford to come down. It's expensive. Sure. But it's a great venue. I love the time here the last couple of years because I get to sleep in my own bed as little as I did, but still, but when it's out of town, it's just a little bit, I like it when you leave for a few days, and then you come back and everybody, but it was good. The only drawback about FIU is they don't let you use the press box. You have to go into some press room. They have TVs on, but still, I'm used to, kind of writing and watching the game, and you can't do that there. So, and I probably stood more than I should have. My feet were killing me, but that's okay. I'm live this week. But I'll tell you what, I slept yesterday. And then today I have more work tonight. And then I got my show on Wednesday. And we got the Dave Broward All-Star game on Sunday at Traz Pal. Should be real good. A lot of good top players will be playing. Plus, they have the girls' flag football game and an 8th grade game, which we'll get a chance to see some of the younger kids. So if you're listening in the area, Traz Pal Stadium, I think you go to GoFan, and the tickets are on GoFan as well. So that's a good opportunity.
So after Canes win, go over to Traz Pal.
Yes. Well, that's Sunday. That's Saturday. They moved it because of the Hurricane game. They had it on Saturday, so they said, no, let's move it to Sunday. They did, so it'll be great. So we'll have a good Saturday, Sunday weekend, and then the following week, right after Christmas, take off for the Under Armour game, and then I'll be out in San Antonio for the Navy game, and then and that's it. And then we'll start with the 7-on-7 tryouts and. There's the next signing period and then spring football, summer football, and we're right back in the saddle.
Portal opens in about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. So make sure you guys keep a lock here because we're going to have a lot of portal news. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on already, right, in the portal. Some big names have already come.
I see Dylan Raiola went in there.
Dylan, yep.
That's another name.
Obviously, DJ Lagway is in there as well. Sam Levitt. There's a lot of big names. Yeah. And a lot more to come.
Yeah.
A lot more to come. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts still. There's a wait and see approach with some coaching vacancies also. Obviously, especially the one over in Michigan. See what happens there. But there's a lot of good players, man. A lot of good players that have already entered the portal. And I'm sure you're going to see a bunch more. Obviously, Ray Joseph has entered the portal for the Miami Hurricanes, as well as I think Damon Russell said he was going to. I don't know if he has yet. Or if he's still with the team, he's going to kind of wait it out and play through. But I know Dana Russell has intended to as well. And you'll probably see some other names pop up here soon, whether it's before or after the game. It all depends on what's going on. But,
congratulations to homeboy Fernando Mendoza. Really, that's a great story. The kid's a nerd. He really is. He's a nerd. He's a nerd, and it's great how, if anything, for his mom who has MS, and obviously she really that was great. The ceremony was great. It was great how he came out of the main hall and all his boys, all his offensive linemen were waiting for him, and
Montalvo was there too. Montalvo was there, who's his personal quarterback coach when he was a kid.
Yeah. There was a lot of people went up and, celebrated the fact that, I heard from what I heard, that certain University of Miami coach made it possible for some of his former high school coaches to get up there. So that's nice. And
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty nice, especially because it's their alma mater. And like I said, the kid's a stark ass nerd. It's going to be someone's doctor someday. He's
Well, at first he's got to have a career in the NFL. That's for sure.
Yeah, well,
for sure.
I agree. But that's it. That was my. Oh, I got the. I do have a.
Yeah, show and tell.
It's playoff week. You got to have something.
1995 team picture of the University of Miami.
1995, right when they hit peak.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
That's when I was born, 95.
There you go. Some names. I'll tell you what, though. I was going over some names on here, guys. Holy mackerel! You had, like guys that were Jamie German and Omar Roll and Magic Benton. Jesus, I went through this today, and I was looking at some of the Twan Russell, who played on that team, Ryan Collins, Dane Pruitt, Chad Pegues, Gerard Daphnes, Jermaine Chambers. How about all those names? Kerwin Blaze, Freeman Brown. Those are the last time Miami had a stellar offensive line back in those days. Ray Lewis. So this was a good year.
Footnote Ray Lewis.
I got some notes.
No, this was Rod Mack, Booker Pickett, James Burgess.
Isn't Rod Mack's son? Isn't his son playing for Miami right now?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, this is a photo to have, and I put it. I framed it because I thought it was a great, a great year to have. But I'm coming up with more and more stuff. I just, as I was looking through stuff, I found something because I talked to Louis Oliver a lot, and I found a nice picture of him talking to Don Shula when he first got to camp. He already posted that damn thing. So that's it. That's it. So let's see what happens. Let's see.
Yeah.
Huh?
Former Miami Dolphin great.
Yeah, no, great, and a great guy. And even though he's a Florida Gator, he's a great guy. And something for young kids of today to understand that he went to the University of Florida on an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship, and played 9 years in the NFL. So that tell you a little bit. But that's it. DJ getting a lot of new personnel up at Boston College. A couple of good recruiting people just went up there, so maybe you guys will be relevant in Chestnut Hill one day.
With old friend Blake James leading the charge.
That's right. Well, Blake,
that's why you'll never be
explains the overall state of the BC athletic program at this point.
No, but basically he came out and said that they're going to pledge a ton of money to football because it was unacceptable, and quite frankly, it was. That team was horrible. So I'm glad BC athletics finally at least pledged something to football because
it's about time.
I want to look into the athletic director position. I'm just saying, I've seen patterns of. We just talked about the dark ages that the Canes went through to get to this point. There was a person that was there for quite a large chunk of that. Quite a large chunk of that. That was somehow running another program. So.
Oh well.
Well, make sure you keep it locked here every Monday at 8:30 p.m. We will recap.
Yeah, next week will be a fun one or a very depressing one. Let's see.
Well, tomorrow, next week's our Christmas week show anyway. So
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We will have a Christmas show, but actually Sunday morning, we'll have a quick recap first with DJ and Vish.
Yep.
I'll make sure not to drink too much on Saturday for you, Vish. I'll make sure to get up on time.
You can drink during the game, man. It's a full day before we go live. That thing is over early.
I can celebrate during the game, and I can also celebrate at night. You know,
True.
I can.
Or you can drink away your
you'll have the
That is
hangover
the
already
thing.
done.
We're winning that football game, damn it.
We're coming back to Arlington in 10 days.
No cowards.
So let's keep it live. Make sure you follow us on X at what is it? 6 Ring Canes. I always forget.
You're the one who runs that.
I'm the one that mostly uses that.
You're the only one that uses the 6 Ring Canes. Scrolling across the bottom.
Story of my life. Yeah, it's all scrolling there. Here, subscribe to the 5 Reasons Canes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you get your podcast. Make sure you go in there. It's the 5 Reasons Sports Network and check out the 6 Reasons Canes. And again on Twitter as well. But every Monday night here at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube Live, and also make sure you download the podcast. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's
it. Let's do this.
Let's come back home with a big win in the first round and on to the second to the quarterfinals, baby. We'll see you guys this weekend. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
The 6 Ring Canes Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Canes Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Canes Show. You know.